you doing, guys? Big Mac Dance Clear again today, back once again with another episode of Warhammer Thoughty. And today's video is a video response to Dread War Gaming. Put 'em up, put 'em up. So, as I've just said, this is a video response video. I do these now and again on Warhammer Thoughty, just to give me a nice variety of topics to talk about. I always, if something catches my eye, a particular video, then I like to respond to that with a video response. And in this video I'm responding to Dread War Gaming and a brutally honest review he did of this. Now this is Krogskull's Boyz. It's the Ork starter set for Kill Team. And he did a brutally honest review of this. Check the link in the description below to his channel and go and watch his brutally honest review. Then, if you would while you're there as well, you can subscribe to his channel, of course. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, so he did a brutally honest review of this, and I disagree with rather than that, I don't disagree with the stuff he said, because a lot of the stuff he said made sense. However, I think he's partially missing the point of this. This is, as it states here, an Ork starter set for Kill Team, and what he kind of wanted from it, I think, was something more complete, like a complete here's your Ork Kill Team. I'll run through what you get in the box and talk about it on a case-by-case basis, or on an item-by-item basis would be a better turn of phrase, I think. So the first thing you get in the box is this, which is just a book of fluff. And one of the things that's mentioned in here and in all of the Kill Team fluff we've seen released so far, it says there's these orcs fighting on Vigilus. Vigilus is a planet that's almost like a nexus point for the galactic map now. When I say that, what I mean is there's all different races on this planet, and they're all trying to fight to gain control of certain parts of the planet and resources on the planet. This nexus point has sort of come about because the Cicatrix Maledictum opened up, and this planet sits at a bridgeway between the northern part of the galaxy and the southern part of the galaxy. Now, the northern part of the galaxy is known now as the Imperium Secundus. This sits at a safe transit point between those two parts of the galaxy, one of the few, if not the only, safe transit point. So there's a lot of traffic from all races in the galaxy going through there. So there's a lot of races that appear on Vigilus, and that's what's led to these Kill Team wars being fought, these shadow wars being fought on Vigilus. Next thing I'm going to talk about is these. Now this is a burner and looter sprue. What you get on the burner and looter sprue is probably, for Kill Team, it's probably one of the best kits you could have for Kill Team, on the basis that this is the mech sprue. I'll come back to that. This is the looter sprue. This is a burner sprue. So straight away you can build yourself looters or burners, and you can build yourself a mech. So your mech can be a leader if you want him to be a leader. However, the mech sprue also contains a rocket launcher and also a big shooter. So the rocket launcher and big shooter, you can actually use them to build Boyz if you wanted to, or gunner boys with a gunner with a rocket or gunner with a big shooter. And then that gives you a variety of 5 different types of Kill Team, 5 different types of unit rather, from the Kill Team rulebook. So that in itself, that kit, although you can't build a big Kill Team with it, you can't build a complete Kill Team with it, it is just a starter set. So this kit is probably the best kit, even though it's 10 years old, it's probably the best kit in terms of versatility for building an Ork Kill Team. Next thing you get are these tokens, and they're falling out as I'm picking this up, so I'll try not to lose them. There's one there. So these tokens are just Kill Team markers, basically. They mark, each symbol means something different. I think, if I remember rightly, this symbol means a unit's retreated, this symbol means it's moved. This one means, I can't remember what they mean. It's been a month or two since I've played Kill Team, So that's advanced anyway. And these are just objective markers and shaken markers, I think. So you get this. You don't get these outside of these sorts of starter boxes. So these are always useful. You also get these, which are 2 scenario cards for Kill Team. 1 match play scenario and 1 narrative play scenario mission. So they're just nice little additions to the missions that you get in the Kill Team rulebook. These missions can be played with any races, but they're actually designed specifically for Orks and another race. Another thing you get in are these bases, which are 32mm bases. Now, personally, I prefer a 32mm base for a looter and a burner, definitely. I even prefer a 32mm base for a boy, because a lot of the Ork boys, looters and burners, especially the looters and burners, their feet overhang the edge of the 25mm base, and that really irritates me. Now, that's a personal taste thing. You don't have to put your looters and burners on 32mm base if you don't want to. If you get them, because looters and burners used to come on 25mm bases, so if you want to keep on 25mm bases, feel free to do that. It doesn't bother me, and I'm sure most people won't be bothered by that. But for me, the 32mm base is ideal for the looters and burners. Next thing I want to talk about is these. These are the tactics cards for Orks. Now, you get tactics in the Kill Team rulebook. Unfortunately, I've misplaced my Kill Team rulebook at the moment. I think you get 6 Ork-specific tactics in there, and here you get 13 Ork-specific tactics. Whether some of these are duplicates with the ones in the rulebook, I couldn't tell you, because, like I said, misplaced my rulebook, and I can't remember from the game I played. These are Ork-specific tactics, which is great, in my opinion. They're a little added flavour to your games of Kill Team when you're playing with an Ork team. The last tactic is this one, which is a Sector Imperialis Ork tactic. Now, this means it can only be played in on a Sector Imperialis kill zone. And that's the one where the galvanic servo haulers are present. The galvanic servo haulers also come in this box, and they are these little vehicles, basically, sort of like they are like a utility vehicle that the Imperium uses to move things. Now, these things here, these are the galvanic servo haulers, this one, and that's just a crane that the little fella tows around. These galvanic servo haulers are Imperial vehicles. Dread Wargaming said that he would have preferred some Orky terrain in this. What you've got to bear in mind is that Vigilus is an Imperial world, and this is where the whole narrative of Kill Team has been focused on. So, whilst you could play a Kill Team battle on any world, in theory, the whole narrative of the release of Kill Team has been centred around this single Imperial world. So all the terrain that has come with the other factions' starter boxes, like Krogskull's Boyz, there's the Fangs of Ulfric for the Space Wolves, there's, I don't know the names of the others, but there's like a Drukhari one, there's a Tau one now, there's a Necron one. They've all got Imperial terrain in, and it's because actually, they've not quite all got Imperial terrain in. There are a few with some Xenos terrain, and that's the Eldritch Ruins and stuff like that. But because it's centred around Vigilus, often on Imperial worlds you'll find old Eldar, Eldritch Ruins, and jungles and stuff like that. It's not just all completely urbanised. So, in the less accessible places on the planet, there could potentially be these Eldritch Ruins. I've not got those starter sets, so I can't tell you the narrative behind these Eldritch Ruins in those particular boxes, but that is my assumption. But you're more likely to find the Orks break into these urbanised areas on Vigilus and these hive cities and trying to find things to loot and to utilise to then allow the Waaagh on the desert plains of Vigilus to then gain an advantage and gain a greater foothold on the planet themselves. So, going back to this, Sector Imperialis tactic, I'll read it out for you just to keep it nice and simple. So use this tactic when you choose a model from your kill team to make a normal move in the movement phase. And that model is within 1 inch of a galvanic servo hauler, see reversed. It's the pictures on the back, them fellas there. When you're moving the model this phase, so simultaneously move the galvanic servo hauler as if it were a friendly model. Both models are considered to have a move characteristic of 2d6 inches in this phase. Roll once for both models. The model cannot advance, cannot move vertically, and must end its move within 1 inch of each other. So what that essentially is saying is the Orks can interact with this terrain. This is an Ork Sector Imperialis tactic, which means it's only Orks that are going to be able to do this. So although they have given you Imperial terrain in this kill team starter box, that's the war zone. That's where the narrative of the kill team launch has been centred. So what they've done is thrown this tactic in there in order to give it a narrative twist where the Orks, whether it's the mech or one of the burner boys, they can come in and they can hotwire this bit of terrain to then drive it across the battlefield and gain some kind of advantage. They might not be able to move that reliably quickly across the board, but it gives it that sort of narrative twist where he's hotwired it, he's driving it, but if you only roll, say, a double 1, if you only roll a 2, then he only gets to move 2 inches because he can't quite work out the controls. Finally, I want to talk about these. These are the character profile cards for how this kill team starter box is supposed to be used. Now, you can use this kill team starter box to build, like I said before, looters, burners, even gunners, a rocket gunner or a big shooter gunner, or a mech as well. So you can build any of them units if you wanted to using these kits. But this is how these starter boxes are supposed to be utilised, really. All the rules you need in terms of profile, so you've got your movement, your weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, advanced, leadership and save. All of them are on here. This is an individual's profile. So this is Krogskull Draka, which is the burner spanner. So you're supposed to build one of them as a burner spanner, and then you're supposed to build another one as a burner boy, another one as a burner boy, another one as a burner boy, and another one as a burner boy. So it's basically a burner spanner and his mates all just running around. And what they've done, they've even added specialisms in here. So you've got an expert fighter in there, a combat specialist, you've got a zealot, frenzied, demolition with breacher, and there's no specialism on this last one because you can only have 3 specialists. So going back as well, they've even added demeanours in there. Too dumb to no fear. Let's have a look at this one. Stubborn and heavily scarred. So they've added these things in there just to basically allow you to start an Ork kill team without knowing anything about Orks. One thing that Dredd said in his video was that the instructions come with the rules on it, and that's great. You can use those rules if you want to. I think I've misplaced the instructions for this because I've not built the Boyz for this. When I've opened it, I've put the instructions down somewhere. They could even be at my mate's house still from when I visited. So I've misplaced the instructions. I assume those rules you get in there, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the rules for regular games of 40k and not kill team. But the thing to remember is, all the rules you need for all the various units in kill team in the core game are in the rulebook. So whether you want to play a knob, a commando knob, a boy, a gunner boy, a slugger chopper boy, any commandos, any looters, burners, spanners, any rules you need for those kill teams, they're all in the core rulebook. So they don't need to give you the rules within this set. Although they actually do to get you started. The thing I think these are for is basically, if you've never played Orks before, you don't know what the flavour of Orks is like, you don't necessarily know how to use Orks, you don't know what the best weapons are for Orks, this is to stop you worrying about that. This is to stop you trying to build the most broken kill team that you can, and just try and have a bit of fun with this kill team. So you build your boys as burner boys, and you build yourself a burner spanner, and you play that team just to give you a little simple demo game, if you like. This isn't supposed to be a full complete kill team. Kill teams are made up of 100 points of kill team that you can use in a game, but your command roster can be up to 20 models. So although this set doesn't give you a complete command roster, it gives you the 5 models you need to get started with an Ork kill team. Now, you don't have to build your models like that. Like I've said, you can just pick units out of the core rulebook for kill team and build them whichever way you want. You might want a gunner boy with a rocket, you might want a looter mech, you might want a looter and then 2 burners, something along those lines, whatever you want to do. And you can build it that way, it's fine. But this is simply to get you started. And with regards to Ork terrain, as I've said, the narrative for the release was set on Vigilus, and whilst I think when we see the Speed Freak release that's upcoming, hopefully in next weekend's pre-orders, fingers crossed, hopefully, that I believe that narrative is also set on Vigilus, but set on like the desert plains of Vigilus between the hive cities. And when we learn a little bit more about the narrative of the Speed Freaks release, hopefully we are getting some Ork terrain in the Speed Freaks box as well. But hopefully the narrative in the Speed Freaks release will talk about these squads of boys that raid these hive cities to try and find stuff to loot for their vehicles, to improve their vehicles, and then it'll all tie in nicely together. So to summarise, I'd just like to point out this kill team starter box never claimed to be a complete kill team. It's an Ork starter set. It's as simple as that. It's just to give you an idea, give you a flavour of the Orks. I've thought about buying the Necron starter set. I've never ever wanted to play Necrons, but I've just thought about buying the starter set and building them up so I've got one of each faction in kill team. It's something for people like me, people with more money than sense, where it's going to attract them in and make them think, oh, I do kind of want one of each kill team, and they'll just pick it up. And then you get a nice little bit of terrain in there. Yes, it's not Ork terrain in this case. It won't be Necron terrain if I bought the Necron set. But it's just that nice little bit, and you save a tiny bit of money as well. So the galvanic servo haulers are £25. The looters and burners are £15.50. Now that's not an amazing saving because this set is £37.50. So what's that altogether? It's £12.50. So you're saving £3. However, you do get the extras in the cards. These won't be any use to you if you don't build Krogskull's Boyz, but it's a nice little bonus to have. But you can always sell them on eBay if you wanted to. If some, I'm sure somebody will buy them on eBay, even if it's just a couple of quid, and you're just recouping a little bit of the money you've spent. You've got these tokens as well, which I found the tokens really useful. I've never wanted to use tokens in my games before because in my head I can mostly, in games of 40k, I can remember what's happened to each unit. But because each model in a kill team operates as an individual unit, it does get a bit hard to track which unit's done what. You can have up to 20 models on the table from in your side. So we're in an Ork side anyway because the Gretchen are so cheap and Boyz are pretty cheap as well. So you can actually have like 20 models on the table. So it's just a nice, simple starter set, and that's what it was intended to be. You could say it's good business sense from Games Workshop to release stuff like this because people like me will buy it. But I still see this as a good thing for a new player to buy. Whilst it doesn't give you a complete kill team and command roster, it does get you started, and that's what it was intended to be in my opinion, as is Games Workshop's opinion as well, because it's an Ork starter set. So although you may want all of the rules in there for Orks, something like that, like a mini codex, if you like, just like a 2-page codex with all the rules for Orks. Would have been nice, but you do still need to buy the Kill Team rulebook if you want to play Kill Team. So you've got the rules there already. You don't need the rules again in this. So I hope you like the video. Thanks very much for watching, and like I said, make sure you check out Dreadwar Gaming's channel and give him a sub if you think you'll like his upcoming videos. If you're looking for Ork content, definitely. What you're doing here, although the channel's called Big Mac Dance Skull, hardly ever have any Ork content other than the t-shirt I wear, which you can't even see because I'm sure it's out of shot every time. So check out his channel. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the battlefield.